This is Bob Sansevere with TwinCities.com. Sports web producer, Kevin Cusick. Kevin, Vikings looking for a coach. Who? Go.
Mike Zimmer seems to be the leading candidate because the intrepid reporter for ESPN, Adam Schefter, and several others have tweeted it today. They have tweeted, "So shall it be," at least until we have this week's playoff games. If any top coaching candidates have their teams lose, then they maybe get in the mix.
Is it not true that he's not yet been interviewed by the Vikings?
He's not been interviewed
he's the
by
top
the
candidate.
Vikings. And you almost wonder if he's the top candidate because the Bengals happened to lose in the playoff game and made him available for interviewing. Because before, the talk had been perhaps Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator in Seattle.
I think
They're
he's
still
in play.
playing. Denver assistant, former NFL coach and former Viking, and my personal choice, Jack Del Rio, is still tied up with the playoffs. Should the Seahawks or Broncos get upset this weekend, I guarantee you those two guys are going to be brought in almost instantly for interviews. So I think the rush to anoint Zimmer may be a little premature.
Frankly, the fact that they're taking there's other teams that haven't named it, but it's not a matter of taking so long. It's the number of guys they're looking to interview. I think anyone who's ever even walked by a football in in Sports Authority or Dick's Sporting Goods, they're interviewing.
Of course.
If you've ever held one or seen one, they want to talk to you.
Of course, if you've ever been in a Dick's Sporting Goods, perhaps you could help the Vikings defense. But Zimmer has a good resume.
I would have no problem with him. I've followed his career. I've done more research on him. His players love him, and he is a good coach. He's aggressive. He loves to blitz. It would be fun watching his defense. At times it would get burned, but also at times they would discombobulate quarterbacks. And frankly, when you play in the NFC North, that's what you want to do. You want to be aggressive, and you want to get these quarterbacks. You want to get to them and get them moving their feet and getting rid of the ball quicker than they want to.
Sure. The last 3 years, Cincinnati has been in the top 7 in the NFL in total defense, which is surprising because of the Bengals' long reputation for sucking. So his resume will stack up with anyone else they bring in, but he has no head coaching experience. And so he's been a career assistant, kind of like Bevell, which is why my choice, for this would be Jack Del Rio, who has coached, I think over 140 NFL games, led the also sucky Jacksonville Jaguars to 2 playoff appearances as a head coach. He seems to be getting bypassed in the rush.
Here's why. The reason is because he has been a head coach, and I don't think Rick Spielman wants anyone who could challenge him. He wants to bring in a guy who hasn't been a head coach, and that when he tells him, here's what we're doing. And frankly, one reason I think Zimmer could be the leading candidate, because he's a defensive-minded coach. He's not going to get a lot of pushback when he decides what quarterback he wants, because he will leave him alone for the defense, but he's going to decide. He's going to shape that team the way he wants it.
Yes. And the one thing we know about Rick Spielman is he will probably pick the wrong choice for quarterback.
Well, that's a given. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Anyway, Kevin, we'll see how that all plays out. Kevin Cusick, Bob Sansevere, thank you again.
Pros.
It's been a pleasure.